All right, we're live. What's going on, everybody? Blitz Nation, how are you? This is KSA Kris, Real Estate Blitz, and as you know, we're on a mission to help more real estate agents out there. And I want to personally thank you for all the support you've been giving me on YouTube and Facebook. And yeah, I'm really excited today. So we actually have Kyle Whissel on, and a ton of real estate agents around the world know him because I remember watching him at a Tom Ferry event. Actually, I think it was like 2 years ago, up on stage. He's always out there talking. Does a ton of stuff with BombBomb. Actually, we'll talk about that because he was voted #1, the #1 video influencer in North America with BombBomb. So I'm excited to have him on. If you haven't heard of Kyle Whissel, you're either living under a rock or you should be excited because you get a chance to actually meet him today. So just so you know, Kyle has been ranked #1 in San Diego County for 4 years in a row. And Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was last year you were #1 by volume sold and also by units. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's the first time anybody's ever been #1 in both. So usually you get one of the luxury brands wins for volume and one of the, other brands wins for units, but it's rare to actually do both at the same time. So we're pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, that is cool. And just so you all know, he's the #1 video influencer. So he was named #1 video influencer in North America by BombBomb, which is really cool. If you aren't using BombBomb, you got to check it out. I'm a huge fan of it. So, we're just going to kick right into this because he has a limited amount of time and we're not going to keep him on too long. But I'm really excited because for those of you that actually watch the YouTube channel religiously, and I got a lot of people that do, one of the big things that I want to talk about, which has come up over and over and over and over and over, is Kris, when are you going to ask or interview somebody about eXp? Because we've talked about, if you're trying to build a business, if you're building a team, or if you're an individual agent, where could you or should you end up? Hey, thanks, Rich, for listening in Arizona. I appreciate it. So here, let me show that. But, it's one of those things where I wanted to eventually do something on eXp. But I didn't want to do it with some new guy that's been in the business. And I had plenty of new people hit me up. Oh, I've been in the business for like 3 months, but eXp, let's go. I wanted to find somebody credible. It's actually doing it, killing it, started somewhere else, built something successful, and then made a decision to go to eXp. And here's the thing, I'm coming from a very different perspective. I don't know anything about eXp. And before we started this thing, I even told Kyle, I don't want to know until we start the interview because I want to ask questions as a complete, stupid, dumb person. So that way, if I'm asking really dumb, stupid questions, maybe for those of you, not saying you're dumb and stupid, but if you're dumb and stupid like I am, at least you can get these questions answered the same way I would like to. So let's kick it off, man. Kyle, thank you. Thank you for jumping on with me. I definitely appreciate it. Can you do us a favor and tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yes, like you mentioned, some of the things that we've accomplished. Last year, we sold 374 homes, 205 million in volume. We're already over 300 this year. So we're super stoked about that. So, that's who I am on the business side. On the personal side, I'm a husband, I'm a father. I got a 2.5-year-old daughter, which has been one of the most amazing blessings in the world. And it's super fun just watching her grow. She's doing soccer and dance class. She's going to school now. So that's definitely been a big life changer and has really just kind of helped give perspective to what life is all about, and it's been really good for me because it's forced me to increase my efficiency. Efficiency is something I'm completely obsessed with because I want to spend as much time with my daughter as I can. And so it's forced me to take my 8-hour workday and really be as efficient as possible and get as much done in that 8-hour time period as possible. I don't want to be the realtor who's putting in, 70, 80 hours a week. And I know some people convince themselves in their head, and I think it's totally effed up. You don't love to work 80 hours a week. You're lying to yourself. You're full of shit. You don't. You're trying to convince yourself that you enjoy it, but you really don't. You would much rather be sitting on the beach in Cabo, sipping on, a margarita and just relaxing, listening to some music. But sometimes you tell yourself that working until 2 or 3 in the morning is cool. It's not.
Right.
So I'm really obsessed with really trying to limit myself to 40 hours a week or less and getting as much done in those 40 hours as possible to where when I come to the office, some of my team doesn't like me so much because I come in, I close the door and I just work my ass off. And until I'm done working, then I'll, check out and we'll have fun. We do team nights all the time. So we went axe throwing recently. We did a murder mystery thing downtown. We do game nights. And, when I check out, then cool, let's hang out. Let's have a beer. Let's have some fun. But when I'm here, when I'm at the office, it's just head down, let's work. And let's not waste a second of the day.
Dude, I think that is so awesome because, you and I talked before this, before we got on, and that was one of the big reasons why I decided to completely tear down, burn down, and just rebuild a certain direction. Because here it was, we reached the dream. We reached the dream. So we built the brokerage, we built an escrow company, we built a lending business. On top of that, I started this it was basically an experiment. So in January, I jumped on the Real Estate Blitz. It says, hey, everybody, just because I keep hearing so many people talking crap, I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to start over with $500. I'm going to rebuild the business to become a six-figure agent. And so I think starting with $500 in January, this year to point, I've sold $18 million worth of real estate. And that's not including the team or the brokerage or anything else. And that's just starting with $500. I was not allowed to use any of my past clients. I was not allowed. I could use my sphere, but no past clients, anything like that. To prove a point, how do you rebuild? How do you build with $500? How do you become a six? And I've been basically putting all that on the Real Estate Blitz, which started the six-figure agent program and me trying to tell people how I did it. So what I found is I started tearing it all down because I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I wasn't going home. And my wife wasn't going home. And it was just starting to drive me nuts. And here it is. I'm a retired Marine. So I have multiple deployments between Iraq and Afghanistan. So not going home for a year, 6 months to a year at any given time. There 16, 18 hours a day, as a chief in my shop. And I was like, this isn't why I got out and started real estate, to work 16 to 18 hours a day. This sucks. I don't get to spend time with my wife. And when I am sitting on the bed with my wife, we're too busy talking about deals instead of actually like talking about life or dreaming about our relationship or working on us or anything else. So yeah, I burned it all down recently. And I'll probably do a video on the Real Estate Blitz about that and why I burned it down. So who knows, I hear what you're saying, and it's just awesome that you're there. And it's cool because listening to somebody where you are and what you're doing in your business, it's nice to say, okay, good, then I'm doing the right thing. That's how the perspective should be. Last thing that I would probably mention is you have a pig, a belly pig, right?
Yeah, so we have 2 potbelly pigs at our house, and we now run a nonprofit 501c3 where we rescue potbelly pigs. And people hear that and like, what the hell? So here's what happened is you guys go on Facebook, you go on YouTube, you guys see these cute little micro teacup mini, whatever name they want to give them, pigs. We saw those too, and we went and we got one. And I think we were told the pig would be like 30 or 40 pounds full grown. I think the pig was like 2 or 3 months old and was 30 or 40 pounds. Said pig is now 150 pounds. And we realized that we weren't the only people who bought what we thought was a mini pig, only to realize it was a full-size potbelly pig. There really is no such thing as micro, mini, teacup, whatever names they want to give them pigs. And so the problem is that people get them, they get too big, they don't want them anymore. Well, they got to find a home. And so we have that happen, or people get them, don't research the zoning where they live. Pigs aren't allowed in a lot of places. So then they get code compliance issues, or people get pigs and think they're like cats where you can just leave them alone for 12 hours at a time and they'll be fine. They're not. Pigs are really smart, and they're equivalent to like a 2 or 3 year old kid. Well, if you leave a 2 or 3 year old kid alone for 12 hours, they're going to tear some shit up. Pigs are going to do the same thing. So for those reasons, that's where there's a need to rescue these pigs. So our mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and then rehome the pigs. So
that's awesome.
We help, fix whatever behavioral issues they have, and then find them forever homes. So it's been really cool. It's my wife and I's passion project.
Right on, man. That's really cool. Real quick, Rocky, hi. Good seeing you. Appreciate having you on. So let's get right into this. So I personally seen you speak at Tom Ferry, a Tom Ferry event. I've seen you online. I've seen you in a lot of different things. And me personally, I think it's just pure fire every time you get up there. And from what I know of you, you're an expert in open houses. We did talk about video farming, video marketing, some of those other stuff. But the one big question, which I mentioned earlier, is that everybody is asking me about eXp. I do want to get into the video stuff because I think it's huge. And I think a lot of agents are doing video. I just don't think they're doing it the right way, in my opinion, because I know the video I do is getting me deals. So I definitely want to talk about that. But just to really kick off, looks like Sheldon's on and hearing about the pigs. Right on, man. But what I want to know is, like, what is eXp? What is eXp? I guess we'll start there. What is eXp?
So people look at brokerages, I think, the wrong way. eXp is a brokerage that we just clear our deals through. So just like when we make investments, you might clear your deals through Schwab or through Merrill Lynch or through E-Trade or whatever the case is. eXp is just the brokerage that we clear our deals through. For me personally, I ran an independent brokerage for 13 years. I was the broker all 13 of those years. Never worked for a franchise my entire life. Never understood working with a franchise because I never saw alignment with this is what I'm paying in and this is what I'm getting out. There was always a misalignment there. Didn't make sense. Why am I going to pay in $100,000 to this brokerage when I'm not getting anything in return? I'm getting a brand name. Well, we all know brand name doesn't matter anymore. And in reality, the brand name's not the broker. The brand name is your team. It's you. You are the brand, which is something we accomplished a lot with video, and I know we'll talk about. So I never saw that alignment before. And, you know, building an independent, one of the things when you build an independent is there's the goal of selling it someday, right? There's this giant pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And, you know, when you're a good agent and you start producing a lot of deals, brokers approach you and try to recruit you over to their brokerage. Well, when you're an independent broker and you start doing a lot of deals, now the big brokerages call you and they want to buy you. They want to merge with you. They want to acquire you, things like that. So we kind of went down that road, and I didn't really want to sell or anything, but I was like, let's just see how this process works. I learned a lot. We got approached by a bunch of Realogy brands and some local brands, and it was fun to go through that process and learn about how it works, how they value a brokerage. And the thing you learn is your brokerage is freaking worthless for the most part. If you are in production, your brokerage typically has very little value, because the way they're going to value it is they're going to look at all of the income that's coming in and they're going to take your income out. At the value of buying you is really your brokerage and the agents within it, not you. Well, most people that are running that brokerage where they're still producing, the team or the agents cover the expenses and the brokers the profit from their production. Well, if you take the brokers out, there's no money left. There is no profit. You were the profit. You remove you, the profit's gone. So the value of your brokerage is almost nothing. So when I realized that like pot of gold is not really there at the end of the rainbow, I was like, man, why do I want to keep doing this? Like, that exit strategy I thought I had doesn't really exist. So I was like, you know, let me go back and look at all the brands again and see what's out there, see what it is that they're offering. And finally, when I came across eXp, I was like, holy shit, these guys got it figured out. There's actual alignment in what you're paying in versus what you're getting out. If anything, there's a misalignment in your favor. Where every other brand I've gone to, it's the opposite. I'm paying a ton in, I'm getting nothing out of it. So what am I getting out of it, right? That's the obvious thing. First and foremost, coming from an independent, I'm not responsible anymore.
Can I back up real quick just for 2 seconds? Because we talk about this on the Blitz. So everybody that's watching this, you know I've preached this over and over, depending on who you are and where you are. So differences between a franchise, between a hybrid, between a flat fee. So when we talk about a flat fee specifically, right? The broker is looking at like, I'm not giving you nothing. You're really just giving me very little. And they're looking to make their money based off of usually auxiliary businesses or escrow companies, whatever they have in-house, right? So the actual total profits that are available there are limited to none. As you start growing and building a team, and you hit something that I wrote down as a note, branding. So everybody, oh, well, I'm with blah, blah, blah. Nobody freaking cares. Let's be honest, nobody cares who you're with a majority of the time. It's very rare. On occasion, if you're in an older market, they may think it's neat or important. Let me rephrase. They may think it's important that you're with Remax, that you're with Coldwell Banker. But at the end of the day, if you're walking in and you are dominating that market and your personal brand or your team's personal brand, you are literally swarming. And I say it all the time. What is a team? A team is a group of like-minded individuals that are coming together to outspend, outmarket, outmaneuver, outwork, and literally dominate any market that they choose to take, right? So if that's the case and that's your brand, who cares if you're at freaking Coldwell Banker? That's just my view. And prove me wrong. You know, I've said that multiple times. For the people that will jump on there and try to argue with me, prove me wrong. So if that's truth, okay, now we start looking at where are the extra benefits for the brokerage. This is why I'm curious about the eXp model and what's going on. So you go to a flat fee brokerage. You're getting nothing for giving a little, so you're keeping more of your upfront money. Let's say it's $300, $395, but then there's also fees that are going to be involved. Let's be honest there. So now you're looking at the $100 a month tech fee. You're talking about E&O, and I've done videos on E&O and how much E&O really costs to the broker and how much they're actually making off of you. So the broker is going to charge you, I don't know, let's say $600, $700 for the year, even though it really probably costs them $5,000 or $6,000 for the year. They have 100, 200, 300 agents. You do the math. And that's okay. The broker's there to make a profit in some ways, because I just told you, actually doing deals doesn't make the broker profit. The broker has to eat too. They're out of production, folks. So they got to make their money where they can. So now that brings me to everything that you just said. Now, what's the difference with eXp?
For sure. So getting rid of the liability for me was a huge motivation. The fact that I used to have to get involved when somebody else would do something stupid is crazy to me. So, I mean, I've had things where agents give the buyer the keys early, and the client demos the house before they own it. And I get in trouble for that. Like, that's crazy. I got to the point, I don't want to deal with that shit anymore. Like, you screw up, you can fix the damn problem, right? That's not my problem. So to get rid of that liability was huge. But if we dive into, aside from that, because not everybody runs a brokerage, so the liability is not a huge deal to them. But let's talk about what you're actually getting out of your brokerage. That's the big thing. One of the things that's most important to people is support. We all need support. And when we have a problem, and we do need to call our broker, we want that support on demand. The problem is, in a typical brokerage, what happens is when shit hits the fan and you need to talk to your broker, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to walk down the hall. Hopefully the broker's there. Half the time they're not there. So then you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call the broker. Well, half the time they're not going to answer the phone because they're tied up with somebody else. They're busy or whatever. So you're going to leave them a message. Then when you're done leaving them a message, you're going into appointments. Now they call you back. You don't answer the phone. And then you just play this stupid game of phone tag, text tag, email tag, whatever it is. And that's so inefficient, especially when you have a fire that needs to be put out immediately. So what eXp's done different is everything in eXp is cloud-based. So there's no offices anywhere. If you want to have your own office, you can get one, but eXp doesn't have offices. Everything is done in the cloud. So if you think about things like Second Life or Sims, it seems crazy at first, but I've actually come to really appreciate it. So now if I need support, I walk into eXp World and I go to the broker room, and there'll be 2 or 3 brokers standing there waiting to help me. And the way that the support works is very similar to the way that Uber works. If you think about your car, in an average day, out of a 24-hour day, you maybe drive your car 2 hours, and then it just sits there and does nothing for 22 hours a day. Well, let's think about it. That's what the support staff in your office typically does. They're getting paid for an 8 or 9 hour day. They're working 2 hours and they're playing on Snapchat and Solitaire the other 6 or 7 hours of the day.
So I took a quick note. I don't want to cut you off, but I don't want to get lost. You just said something. So let's say a broker, which you were a broker. Let's say a broker wants to transition their brokerage over to this type of a model. Do the agents still go to their broker, or are they able to also go to this cloud computing setup where they could talk to multiple brokers in order to get assistance?
They go into eXp World when they need support. So now if one of my agents needs something, they walk in there, because what happens in eXp World is the same thing that happens with Uber, right? Instead of a car sitting for 22 out of 24 hours a day, the way it works with an Uber is as soon as an Uber picks somebody up and drops them off at a location, then what does that car do? It goes and picks the next person up, and then it picks the next person up and the next person. So now instead of a car only getting 2 hours of usage out of a day, now it's getting 8, 10 hours a day of usage out of it. The same thing happens in eXp World. So you walk in there and the brokers are standing there waiting to help you, and they're going to help you. The second they're done helping you, they're going to walk back to the desk, grab the next person, help them, grab the next person, help them, grab the next person and help them. So they're getting more efficiency out of the staff, and you're getting on-demand support. So you don't get stuck in that game of phone tag, text tag, email tag, whatever. I walk into eXp World, and with that, in a matter of minutes, I'm talking face-to-face with a broker, getting my issues addressed. So the support is unparalleled. So I love that. The other thing that the cloud allows them to do is to provide training consistently. They're putting out 5-6 hours a day of training. And so whether you're a brand new agent and you want to learn about how to farm or how to blog or do social media, they've got classes for that. Or if you're advanced like we are, they've got masterminds built. So there's masterminding about some of those same topics with some of the top agents from around the country. And instead of, the typical brokerage that has a conference 2 or 3 times a year, and you got to go fly to Vegas or New Orleans or wherever the conference is to actually hear from the leadership of eXp is all over the country. You've got people in, the founder is up in Washington, EO is over in Massachusetts, the COO is in Arizona. They come together every single week and give you the vision of where the company's at on a weekly basis, because they can come together in the cloud and do that. And so it's really cool to hear from the leadership of your company on a regular basis about what's happening. It's not something where 2 or 3 times a year I go to the big conference and I get to hear. I get to hear that every single week. So that's some of the cloud stuff. I love all of that. Other things, technology, they're killing it. So while some companies are trying to invent their own technology, which is crazy expensive, takes way longer than anybody ever expects, eXp's been smart and they've just lined up enterprise deals with some of the best technology providers that are out there. So on the front end, right, we've got to actually bring leads in and convert those leads into contracts. They partnered up with Conversion, who recently married InsideRealEstate.com. They made a baby. That baby is called KV Core. KV Core is a killer end-to-end system. So that is your website, that is your IDX on your website, that's your CRM. So as your leads come in, that's the system that's helping you manage who to call, when to call them. It's where you're logging all of your notes. It's where you can see what properties these guys are watching. One of the cool features that KV Core has that I haven't seen in another system is when somebody on a typical system saves a favorite, the system will let you know, like, hey, Kris saved a favorite. And now it's up to me to call them and say, hey, Kris, I saw you looked at 123 Main Street. But it's dependent on me taking that action. What KV Core does is it automates a lot of that stuff. So now when somebody saves a favorite, you preset things to happen when those trigger events happen. So now when somebody saves a favorite, the system's automatically going to connect with that person and start that conversation. And it's going to say, hey, Kris, I looked at 123 Main Street. When do you want to go see it? And then when they respond, now you're going to get engaged. So it automates a lot of that stuff for you. And that's what a really good CRM will do. It's also when you come in every day, it's telling you here's who to call, when to call them, why to call them. It's really helping you run your business so that you can bring the leads in and then convert the leads into contracts. So they've got KV Core on the front end, which if you were to go buy that yourself, I think it's like $600 or $800 a month. So you're talking about a massive savings there. And then on the back end, they give you SkySlope, which is the best task and transaction management system in the industry. That system for us when we were independent was like $700 a month. And now we get that for free. And so that's the system where when we sign a listing, I can trigger a task plan and make sure everything gets done on every single file. So order the signs, order the flyers, the lock boxes, put it on the MLS, do this, do that. And my entire team, my TCs, my listing managers, me, we all have our checklist in there. So, you know, you're a military guy, right? It's about those SOPs, right? Like we got to make sure we do our standard operating procedure every single time. So as you start to build in volume, and your business grows, you've got to have a system that's helping you stay on track with your task. And then it's also your transaction management. So you can see all of your files that are in escrow. You can see where they're at in the process. All the documents are in there. You know what you need to upload to make sure that you get paid. Your clients can see everything that's happening with the transaction. They can download the documents if they need to. So they're really giving you that end-to-end platform. And they're using the best systems in the industry. So instead of trying to invent their own shit, that, you know, other brokers are going to learn is going to take years. And by the time they invent something, all the other providers like, you know, KV Core and SkySlope are already years ahead of them. So we love that they've just partnered with the best providers out there and we just get to plug and play with those systems. So the tech is a big one. I'm a techie guy. I love that stuff. Having a good CRM is what took us, our biggest leap year ever was 82 to 242 transactions. And it was when we instituted the Boomtown CRM. One of the best CRMs out there, and KV Core will go toe-to-toe with Boomtown, toe-to-toe with Commissions Inc. So it's a really, really solid platform. And so if you don't have a CRM, being able to come into eXp and get a system that would cost you thousands of dollars a year, that's huge. That's a huge, huge opportunity. The two things that everybody talks about a lot with eXp, which is not what I prefer to talk about, but it's the stock and the revenue share.
That's exactly, I've been sitting over here taking notes. And, you know, for me, you and I could probably talk about the tech. We could talk about like all the stuff that, in my opinion, how are you going to build a business, a strong business? But it seems like everybody that hits me up on the real estate blitz, and this is why I was glad, because I do want to talk about the video stuff with you, but I just feel like let's try to demystify this while I have somebody on with me, right? Everybody wants to talk about either the money or how much money you can make. And then for people that are trying to build a business like myself, it almost feels like I'm getting an Amway pitch. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so let me get this right. If I buy cereal for myself, then I can keep some of the money that I bought cereal from myself with. Like and then I buy my own vitamins and then taxes. Like I start to get, that's not what I'm focused on. So whenever I talk to somebody or somebody hits me up, I'm kind of like, okay, so this is what I was saying earlier. I first look at, okay, what kind of business, the first question in my mouth, how many deals did you close last year? Okay, so 3. I just don't want to talk to you. I have no interest in speaking with you and how much money I'm going to make off of eXp, because that's just stupid. Like,
Yep.
and if this is how it works, so you're trying to recruit me because you do no business, so now pass. Like, I got no interest. So it just doesn't. I'm glad we're going to talk about it, because I think it's important, because, and for those of you that are watching this, okay, especially on YouTube, and I've said my piece on this, I don't know what eXp is. We're talking about it right now. But if all you're hung up on is the money, then maybe you shouldn't. Like, first figure out why it's good, how it can help you build a strong, profitable business, and then if there are benefits to that, like the stock. I know the stock is one, and then the second one, it's like a recruiting. I don't understand what it is, but and I'm sure you'll tell us, some type of recruiting thing. I think that should be a byproduct of being part of something that's good, that's helping you build a strong business. That's my opinion. So let's just get it out of the way and talk about it and get those two things out of the way. And what I'm going to do is, if people want to reach out to you again, and hello, Jennifer, and hello, Susan, thank you. Good seeing y'all. But I want it to be to where, if they want to know more, I know you have a webinar coming up, they can hit up your webinar and you can go in depth, because I'm already running out of time that I wanted to give, because I really want to get into the video stuff. But so let's just get it out of the way. So tell me, change my mind. Okay, because I every time somebody brings up eXp, I immediately start thinking of Amway or Cutco knives, and I start like immediately. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to pass. So change my mind, please.
For sure. So look, there's stock and there's revenue share. I'm going to hit them super quick, because to me, they're not the most important part of it. And if you're joining the company just for those things, I think you're making a mistake, right? But here's what they are. The company is a publicly traded company. They're on the NASDAQ stock exchange. They've been publicly traded for years now. As you do deals in the company, so when you close your first transaction every year, when you cap, when you attract agents to the company, they're giving you stock in the company, which is pretty cool, right? No other company out there is giving stock. If they are, it's worthless. They also have a stock purchase program, which is really cool. So you could take 5% of your commission, buy stock at a 20% discount. That's pretty cool. I mean, anytime you can buy something at a 20% savings, pretty much a no-brainer to do that. So that's pretty cool, because no other company out there is giving stock. So that I love. And then the revenue share is a big one. That's what everybody always talks about. Again, I don't want to dive super deep on it, but we'll touch on it. Any other brokerage, as you attract agents to the company, the broker is going to say, hey, thanks so much. Here's a little Starbucks gift card, or here's a dinner out for you and the wife. That's cool, but there's not much else in it for you. But with eXp, they're actually really taking care of you. So when you attract an agent to the company, you're essentially going to get a referral fee off every deal they do until they cap with the company. It's a $16,000 cap. It's pretty minimal. So every time an agent that you bring into the company does a deal, you're going to get a cut off of those deals. The amount of money that can be made with that, whether you're a new agent and maybe you attract 2 or 3 agents a year to the company, I mean, you're talking you can make an extra 5 or 10 grand a year. That's pretty cool. Or you can.
So it's not a profit share. I just want to make sure I'm wrapping my head around this, because I know people always try to go, well, Keller Williams has the same thing. My understanding, it absolutely is not the same thing. Keller Williams is a profit share based off of everything that's coming in, and whatever is left over, then the broker will throw you, like the dog sitting in the corner is like, here, take my bone. Right. So
yes. So that's why I refer to it more as a referral fee than anything else. Because just like when you refer a client to somebody, your referral fee comes off the top, the revenue share comes off the top. So let's say, Kris, you join, every deal you do until you cap, I'm getting a 3.5% referral fee off of it. And then if you bring somebody in, we're both getting referral fees. And it's just like Keller Williams profit share, it goes 7 lines deep, but it's not profit share off the bottom, it's revenue share off the top. It's much more relatable if we just call it a referral fee. So there's opportunities. I mean, there's people in this company making 6 figures a month from this company because they've chosen to dive into that head first. But the thing is, you got to work your ass off. That money doesn't just fall from the sky because you joined eXp. Like, you got to work your ass off and actually attract agents to the company. It's not going to just come because you joined the company. So the guys,
I think the best way to attract agents is actually build a strong, profitable business. Yes. Period. If you're building a good business and you're actually, like, I don't know, paying your bills and actually have money to go to Cabo, like you said earlier, for me, I'm more of a Virgin Islands kind of guy, going out to St. Croix. But if you're doing that, people are naturally going to be attracted to you. And I think if you're trying to, just because I've already seen it happening with a couple, like I told you, the guys that have been in it for like 3 months and produced nothing. They're out there just focused on the recruiting, chasing that pot of gold, as opposed to like chasing the real estate dream of being a top producer that will attract people that way. Then you can intelligently, so I'm going to say this one more time. For the people that watch me on YouTube, do not send me another frickin' PM. Okay. If you suck and you don't do any business, don't send me another damn PM saying, hey, you should check out eXp. I'll hook you up. Okay. Because you right here, I'm talking to Kyle Whissel. I could call him if I need to, if I ever decide to go that route. So stop it. Okay,
so let me tell you why. Yeah. Here's the real reason why to do it. So what the stock and the revenue share does, what it creates is financial alignment, which is something you don't get anywhere else. So people will pour into you on a whole nother level when they're actually financially incentivized to do so. So let's say you join, well, the more homes you sell, the more money I'm making in those referral fees. So for us, we've chosen not to build our platform. We call it the fast forward movement. We've all got goals in our life. One of my big goals is make $1 million a year in passive income. eXp gives me the ability to fast forward my timeline to make that happen, because my previous plan was buy a ton of rental properties. It's going to take me 20 years before I could buy enough rental properties to make that money. This fast forwards my ability to get there. So that's what we call our group. So the big thing that we're building our group around is not the stock, not the revenue share. We're building it around the education and the masterminding. So our group specifically, this is not all of eXp, this is our group. Every single Wednesday, one of the big names in the group, somebody like me, somebody like you, somebody like Dan Beer, who sells $200 million a year, Mark Z in Detroit, who sells like 500 homes a year. These guys that are really out there crushing it, selling a ton of homes, are doing private training just for our group. So every single week, you've got somebody who's selling 25, 50, 100, $200 million, doing a private training, telling you what it is they're best at, right? Video is one of our things. So I do private trainings just for our group to help them understand video. The training we had yesterday, it's every Wednesday. The training we had yesterday was all about how to build culture in your company by a girl who runs an amazing team all built around culture. We've done trainings on expireds, on FSBOs, on farming, on branding. Every single week you're getting that. Every single week, Jay Kinder, who's a boss. I mean, that guy was selling $1 million GCI in his early 20s, built up one of the largest coaching organizations out there. Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, awesome guys. They're doing private coaching every single week just for our group. So think about having people who are doing millions of dollars in GCI that you can go to on a weekly basis. How do I generate more leads? How do I convert more leads? How do I, build my team? Who's my next hire? What do I pay them? All of that stuff. You've got coaching from those guys every single week. You've got coaching from me and from Dan Beer and Mary Maloney, $500 million in production just in San Diego alone. You've got coaching from us on a regular basis. So when you join with us, we're building it around that coaching, that training, that masterminding, as opposed to the stock and the revenue share. And the reason is we know that if we build it around those things and we teach you how to actually go out and sell more homes, then you'll earn more stock. You'll attract more agents. But none of that matters if we're not actually selling houses. Like when we moved over, Tom Ferry was really nervous about me making the move because he was worried I would do exactly that, quit selling houses and just go all in on recruiting. I still personally sell a house a week. I've sold over 50 homes this year myself. My team sells almost a house a day. So it's all about first selling homes because we are realtors, right? This just has a couple new incentives that are going to naturally be attracted to you because you're going out there and selling more homes. So for our group personally, it's all about the education. We've got a mastermind happening next week out in Key West where you've got, we're flying in speakers and we're doing an amazing event out there that's purely centered around how do we sell more houses? How do we build bigger teams? How do we do more in our communities? So everything that we do is built around education, training, and masterminding because those are the things that are going to help us sell more homes. And sure, we're going to get rewarded with stock and with revenue share as a result of it, but we've got to sell homes first. And so that's a big thing for our group is we're focused 90% on that stuff, 10% on everything else that's out there. So that's really what we want to be built on.
Cool, man. So you know what? I think we're going to try to button this up there and leave it there. This is what I'd like you to do. And I think I mentioned it. If you can, I know if you're watching the live chat, you can actually drop in there where the webinar is. Send it to me. I'm going to post the webinar on YouTube. I'll post the webinar up on Facebook as well. And I'll make sure it's accessible and available. So as people, there's a ton of stuff going up in the live feed right now. But I'll definitely make sure that I post all that up. So if people want to catch your webinar that's coming up, they can learn more about eXp, because like I said, I wanted to talk about it. So now everybody that beats me up on YouTube will stop asking me to interview somebody about eXp, right? But now what I want to do is get into stuff that I'm interested about, just to give you perspective. This is why I think video is so important. While we've been sitting here, I had somebody that's watching this and it looks like they want to sell their house. So I'm going to give them a call right after we get off here, and I'm going to get a listing. And video is powerful. And I know when we first started, we didn't have money. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. The broker we were with, and I think I mentioned it, just freaking horrible and awful. They really thought they were doing it. It was like, over the last 20 years, we sold about 16 million, or what was it? We've almost sold $160 million worth of real estate. Now, with where I sit now, here it is a few years later, I'm like, that's it? Like, that's horrible. That is, but I didn't know. And it's just one of those things where we had to find a different way. So I was a tech guy in the Marine Corps. That's what I did. So I was like, let me see what's out there. That's when I started getting exposed to, whether it was cold calling, whether it was multi-line dialers, whether it was lead capture systems. I used Boomtown, I used Sync, I used Firepoint, all these different technologies that were out there, and really using those to take us, and also the brand ambassador type stuff, really just putting our crap out there for everybody to see. And I think one of it, I think it was Grant Cardone, attention is king. I think everybody thinks, well, money's this, that, and no, attention is king. I love people, especially in different groups on Facebook, they're like, oh, well, you guys post too much. Great, because now there's 50 people saying, oh, I love their posts, and it's just exploding online. And I love it, because every time it's just redinging and jumping to the top. And I got 15,000 people just in that group that are saying just stuff on me. I don't care if it's good or bad. I just want them to see me. And there's people that are fighting for us, and they've never even met us. They've never even met us. They just know, hey, I'm looking for an agent. Bam, get deals off of that every week. It's fantastic. So I want to talk about video, because I started changing to the video platform about a year and a half ago, and it's changed our business. So you are, in my opinion, the video expert. So I want to ask specific questions, because I think, in my opinion, I could rehash stuff that everybody's already heard, or I could talk about things from an expert. Okay, so everybody knows, and I might actually have you prep some of this as well. You have a foodie show. You have, I've watched your stuff going back, your property videos, your personal videos, your raw footage. You actually have a full-time videographer now. You have two now? Holy crap.
Yes.
And, and it makes financial sense, because if you break it down, you're paying for photos, you're paying for video anyways on all of your listings. If you're doing enough volume, why not just hire somebody to actually do that full-time and create and curate content for you? So to me, you are like the mecca when it comes to actually developing and designing that. So I want to talk about, basically, I'm getting all excited. Sorry, I did get so pumped, because it's just neat. So I want to start with YouTube. What are your views on YouTube and its use, and how should agents be using it, in your opinion?
I think it's one of the most underutilized things out there today. And it's just because it's been around for a long time, like Facebook, Insta stories, Snap, Marco Polo, all that stuff, Musically, those are all kind of new and fun. And so people are very attracted to the new stuff, where YouTube has been around for over a decade. It's probably been around for close to 2 decades now. And so people kind of forget about the old technology, but every video you shoot should find its way to YouTube. I guarantee you, when this is over, right? We're shooting this thing Facebook Live. When it's done, you just click up in the top right corner on Facebook and hit download. Now you take that video, and now you put that video onto YouTube.
I repurpose it everywhere, but YouTube is huge.
But YouTube is the most important one. You got to put it on YouTube. You got to be smart when you put it on YouTube, and actually take the time to optimize the title, to make sure your tags are on point, to make sure your description is on point. All of those things make a huge difference. Another thing that's really important right now is making sure you have a good thumbnail image. So if it's just an image of your face, people aren't going to click that. But if there's actually some text and some graphics on there, people are a lot more likely to click it, because they have an idea of what it is that they're clicking into. So every video that you shoot needs to make its way to YouTube, whether it was shot Facebook Live, whether it was just something you shot from your phone, no matter what it is, every video needs to find its way to YouTube, because YouTube is searchable. So the videos that you're shooting on Facebook, on Insta, those are going to fade out after a week or so. But YouTube doesn't fade out. YouTube actually can gain more traction over the years as opposed to less. So it's important you get everything on there because people search on YouTube for videos. And YouTube is owned by a little company called Google. So if you even type my name.
That's what I was about to say. It's owned by Google.
Yes, you will type my name into Google, my YouTube videos are going to pull up. So when people type your name, what's going to pull up? I think it would I'd much rather videos of me actually talking pull up than worrying about what random site they're going to land on and where that lead is going to go. I want them to land on somewhere where it's me talking and I control that message.
I tell people all the time, so when I go on listing appointment, it's funny because by the time I get to the listing appointment, I've already got them. And that's why I would say 9.9% of the time out of 10, I'm going to get the listing. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to get the listing when I walk in. I tell them, hey, do me a favor before I get there. And it's funny because I got the script. Hey, before I get there, and we sit down and talk about, I want to ensure that while we're talking about your house, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time pitching about how great I am. I want you to do your own research. So when we're there, we're talking specifically and strictly on how I'm going to get your house sold for the most money, short time, blah, 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 right? And I say, do me a favor. When you go home, jump on your computer or your phone and Google my name. After you get done Googling my name, Google Kim Steele and Associates or Google KSA. I want you to see what's actually out there. And that's how you can do research on who I am to see if I'm the real deal before I show up. So you know that when I get there, I'm showing up to get your household. And what's funny, they'll Google me and it's like, holy crap, you got like 500, 1,000 videos. You got education stuff. I sat down and watched your videos on how to get your house sold in 30 days. I watch this, I watch that. So the video content, especially on YouTube, is a no-brainer. In my opinion, it has to happen. And I mean, so this is what I want to ask you specifically to YouTube, but I think it goes deep into Facebook Live as well. Because I watch what you do and I love what you do. Do you think agents should just be doing real estate based content when they put it out there? Because it seems like every agent that I see, they're either at an open house or they're talking about real estate or how they're going to help somebody buy or sell a home. And honestly, I think it's really turning people off. I'm watching Facebook groups. They're kicking out real estate agents because like, check out my open house. You want to buy a house? Like they're just so freaking aggressive about it. So like, what is your approach to video and how do you think agents should be utilizing YouTube or even Facebook to push video?
Yeah, so if you're doing nothing but like check out my new listing, check out my open house, it's so boring. And that's what every other realtor is doing. So I mean, if you're doing the same thing as everybody else, you are everybody else. You want to be that person that stands out, that does something different. So honestly, I think we started doing this before Gary Vee talked about the whole digital mayor thing, but we started recording videos in our community and interviewing all of the different business owners in the community. So whether it was the chiropractor, the gym, the coffee shop, the insurance guy, the baseball field, we interviewed every single business owner in our community. We did 100 episodes of it. So we did an episode every week. It was called Santee Saturdays. So we did 2 years worth of content. And the beautiful thing that came from that was, one, I got relationships with every single business owner in the city. So we're in San Diego. We live in a town called Santee. I got to meet every single business owner in the community. And let's be honest, the business owners tend to be the people with the most money and the most connections. Those are the people that you want to know.
You're basically tapping their sphere and you're using them. They already have credibility in their own sphere and people love trust. I mean, they're like, it's all there. And if they say, hey, I'm doing an interview with Kyle Whissel, best agent out here for me because they're going to push your business and brings you into it. Well, now you fall into their sphere. You're basically tapping their sphere. Now they know you, like you, and trust you as well. I mean, to me, that's just genius.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And it's the opposite of what everybody else does, right? Because everybody else, check out my new listing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, so boring. So when you can actually go out there and it's good content, people enjoy the content because now you're telling them about things that they didn't know exist in the community. You're telling them about the cool little coffee shop that just opened up. You're telling them about the shelter that helps out battered women and the things that they're doing in the community to help them. Like, you're showcasing things in the community that a lot of the community didn't know existed. And so that's, again, like you said, it's the know me, like me, trust me thing, to the point where now if I go do an open house, or I go do a street fair, or I'm just walking around the freaking grocery store, people will approach me and we're instantly in rapport. I don't even have to break the ice or anything. Oh, hey, you do those videos. I love that video about the coffee shop. and I'm instantly in rapport with that person. So there's the know me, like me, trust me, and then somebody will work with you. I already knocked 3 out of the 4 out of the way. So the fact that I can instantly be in rapport with people is so valuable. And people appreciate the content so much. I've been nominated for the last 2 years for Person of the Year in the city of Santee.
Wow.
Primarily because of these videos, because of the things we're doing in the community to showcase how awesome our community is. And we're giving exposure to these businesses that otherwise couldn't afford it, right? Like my guy, when he does videos on the weekends, he's charging like $1,500 to do a video.
Right.
But we're doing this for these businesses for free. We don't charge them a penny. So we're doing free marketing for these guys. We're helping give them a little bump in their business. So they're super grateful. The community's super grateful because they're learning about things they didn't know existed. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's your way of staying in front of your target audience on a regular basis with content they actually care about. And that's the most important.
Right. So let's talk about that, because I just got a question in. I'm posted up. I don't know if you can see it on your end, but it's popping up on YouTube Live. So it says, how long were videos, or how basically, I think he's asking how long should videos be and what type of content? And I think that's a great question.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're obsessing right now about squeezing as much mileage out of every video we do as possible. So the primary videos are typically 3 to 5 minutes long. The longer you go, the more people are going to drop off. So we try to go 3 to 5 minutes, but now you could take that 3 to 5 minute video and you can make dozens of mini videos out of that. So that's another thing we're really obsessing over now, is not just the one video, one and done and move on. Now take that video and take little snippets, take 15-second snippets that you can use on Insta stories and Facebook stories, take 60-second snippets that you can use on Instagram, make quote cards out of it of like cool quotes that were said, you know, in the video that you can use to tease it. Like, do a behind the scenes video. There's so many things that you can do with your one piece of 3 to 5 minute content, and you can get a lot more mileage out of it. So that's something that, you know, here toward the end of 2018, moving into 2019, we're really obsessing over. That is not just shooting as many videos as we can. It's getting as many videos as we can out of the video we've already shot.
And basically maximizing that. And I think, you know, so you just dropped, okay, folks, if you are not, I'm over here taking notes. If you're not taking notes, okay, first off, if you're watching this on YouTube and not taking notes, you stop, start over, watch it again. If you're listening to this online, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, same thing, pull over your car, piss off traffic, start taking notes. You just missed a whole lot of gold if you didn't. So another thing that what I am basically doing as well, on top of the video content, I'm creating basically blog content off of that as well. So I'm doing a transcription off of everything. I'm dropping that transcription, dropping that on as a blog, and then I'm taking the video content and readjusting it, and also the blog content, and using that to go out into my database through my FirePoint farm. So it's just basically, and that's where I'm creating a lot of the educational stuff. I have a separate share drive. So when I get a new listing, I create a share drive for our client, so they can actually jump on there and they can see everything that's happening at any given time. And then I use video content along with BombBomb right now, because I just picked up with BombBomb. I love it. You're a BombBomb fan, right? Oh man, it's great. And then what I'm doing is I'm basically creating these educational series for them. It makes me have to spend less time with my clients. I don't have to engage with them as much. In fact, most of the time when I call them, they're confused why I'm calling. I'm like, well, yeah, Kris, I already watched a video on that. I know what's going on with escrow. Oh, okay, right on. So I think there's so many cool ways to repurpose video, and not anybody's doing it. And I'm still working on this as well. And what you just said was gold to me. I'm writing a ton of freaking notes. So cool. Okay, so we're talking about 3 to 5 minutes. Answer your question, Justin, 3 to 5 minutes. And then we're talking about, as far as content, that's the one thing. So you had mentioned, yes, it's good to do some real estate agent stuff, but actually to think outside the box, maybe look at your community. How can you help your community? Talk about different organizations. What other kind of content do you think agents should be creating?
Yeah, so I mean, we did 100 episodes of that Santee Saturday series, and we ran out of businesses. The city is 54,000 people. We did 100 businesses. They were really scraping the bottom of the barrel toward the end there. It was really tough to find anything that was good content. So we knew we had to kind of make a shift and do something new and change. And so we looked back at all the episodes that we had done of Santee Saturdays, and consistently the ones involving food always did the best. So if you look at your Insta feed or your Facebook feed, the majority of what you're going to see is either food, fashion, or fitness. It's going to be something related to those three. So pick which one of those is most relevant to you. There's no wrong or right response. And family is big too.
Can we say that one more time?
Yeah.
because again, I think you just said a giant gold nugget, and I feel like people are going to miss it. So you said the big three, the three
It's
F's:
really four,
food,
because my wife is
fashion,
enlightening
fitness.
me. Food, fashion, fitness, and family. Like, there are some like mom and dad bloggers out there that freaking kill it. Like, my wife, her whole Insta feed is all these mom bloggers. So there's a need, because people want to connect with moms like them or dads like them, or things like that. So food, fashion, fitness, and family. So find one of those four that resonates the most with you, and then go in head first on that. So we opted to go for food. So we ran out of businesses in the one little city that we were focusing on. So we expanded to an entire region, the entire eastern part of San Diego County, known as East County, and dove headfirst into food. So it's called East County Eats. And so we're about 70 or 80 episodes into East County Eats now, and we've just gone all in, focused purely on food. It's kind of like a mix of diners, drive-ins, and dives from Guy Fieri, mixed with some of the new school stuff of like Tasty and Thrillist and some of the other videos that you're seeing on social, and kind of mash those two up together. We've shot, 70 plus episodes. We've got millions and millions of views that are on those. The Facebook page is hovering around like 18, 19,000 likes that are true likes. Consistently, our videos, we're getting anywhere from 5 to 10, 20,000 views on a weekly basis. One of our videos went super viral, got over 3 million views on it, without putting a penny of ad spend behind it. So that food stuff just absolutely kills it. And now I'm getting relationships with restaurant owners and managers, which they are the best, because what does a typical restaurant owner and manager do when they're on a shift? They manage the people, but more often than not, they're just going around from table to table. Hey, how are you? What's new? Hey, Bobby. Hey, Sally. How's everything? How's the kids? And people are like, oh, yeah, we're thinking of moving. Well, who's he going to refer, right? He's probably going to refer the person who just did a badass video and brought a ton of new customers into his business.
That's right. And I got a couple questions here that I think are going to be relevant to this. So now we're talking about what you're doing is actually like really good full-blown production. And I think this is where a lot of agents, it's a myth. And even when I first started doing video, I'm like, oh, well, I don't have money. And I was, it cost $500 a video. I can't afford it. So I just didn't do it. And finally, I made a commitment. I says, you know what, I'm going to do one video per day for 90 days. And that was the beginning of the real estate blitz. I'm going to do one video a day. I'm just going to do it in front of my computer, and I don't care. So one of the questions that's on here for an agent, if they, should they be focused on full-on productions, or should they just do run and guns? Like what should they be doing in order to just get going?
The majority of the questions we get are what camera, what lens, what editing software, what lighting. Like, none of that matters, honestly. Like, that stuff does not matter. There could even be no image on the screen. The important part is the content. The content is the most important part. You need to be focused. 95% of your video needs to be focused on the content, and then 5% on what camera lens, all that other stuff. It really doesn't matter. All you guys need is your little iPhone, your Android phone, whatever. This is the camera, this is the lens, this is the lighting, this is the editing software. This is all that you guys need. You don't need anything else. If you want someone to model after who does it with just cell phone, like, right, I have videographers. You don't need to copy what we do. Nicole Nicolay, she runs a page called Love Livermore, Livermore. I love her. I've become a big fan of hers because she's doing what we do, but doing it without having a huge crew like we do. And so you don't have to go all in and spend tons of money on professional videographers. You need to just go and put quality content out there and do it consistently.
So you mentioned it multiple times, quality content. And I love the fact that you mentioned consistency. So good actions consistently over an extended period of time is how you win.
Yes.
But quality content. So what do you consider quality content?
It's got to be stuff people care about. And your open house, very, very few people care about your stupid open house. If it's a luxury home, people love that, right? That's why the whole HGTV network exists. But for the most part, people don't give a shit about your 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 600 square foot condo in the hood. Like, nobody cares about that. So that's where going and doing things within your community, food, fashion, fitness, and family. Doing videos about that stuff is gold. We're going to even start adapting our series a little bit because we've done so many episodes on food. We're going to start talking about the current events in East County. We're going to talk about some of the elite people in the county things that they've done, people that give back and maybe started charitable organizations, and all the things they've done to help make the community what it is. People want to hear like a did you know kind of segment. Like, did you know that this used to be a military base and there was actually a battle fought here? And did you know there's a castle down the street that was built in the 1800s? Like, when you can tell them like cool stuff like that, where you're tying into the community, and you're showing that you're the community expert, which Gary is, basically taking the term, the digital mayor. Like, you're the digital mayor of that community. You're telling people everything cool about the community. And they know you're a realtor, right? You can subtly plug your realtor. You could wear your shirt that has your real estate company on it. You could have a watermark down in the bottom. There's ways to integrate the fact that you're a realtor in there. But by putting out content people actually care about, that people want, that's the ticket. And so think about TV. What's being watched on TV? Right? Well, there's a channel about flipping homes. People love that kind of content. So showing, the process of a home being flipped. Luxury homes, people love that. There's shows about, the like America's Top Model. There's shows about dance. There's shows about all those things. That's the content people want. So how do you make content like that? But it's got to be something you're passionate about. I love food. I love to go out and eat. I'm a foodie. So that's what we chose. So find what it is that you're passionate about and go all in on that. And it doesn't matter about views. Like, I got really fortunate. I got to have dinner with Gary Vee at his Agent 2021 conference last year. And that was a big thing that I took away from that dinner was don't obsess over the metrics, over the view count. That's so easy to get obsessed over that and be like, oh, well, this one only had 1,000 views and our other videos have gotten 100,000 views. It doesn't need to be the video with the most views. It's just got to be the video that connects with that right person.
Right.
And case in point, the biggest listing I've ever taken in my career was from a video, the owner of a senior facility that we shot a video at. And it's a senior facility. It's not the most exciting video in the world, right? It's not the trendy new restaurant or coffee shop. It's the senior facility. But we went out there, we did a video for them. They really appreciated what we did. It got me a $4 million listing. And it was purely because of that video. So don't obsess if you have a video that's got 1,000 views and another with 10. Just keep doing it consistently. So one of the best ways to do it is do something like Santee Saturdays. Well, now I better come out with a video every Saturday. You kind of hold yourself to it. So I've seen people do Wind Down Wednesdays, Foreclosure Fridays, 2-Minute Tuesdays, Think Tank Thursdays, Mortgage Minute Monday. Like, come up with something like that. It's going to force you to put that content out consistently.
Right. So I guess that will bring in exactly what I knew somebody was going to ask eventually, but they're asking about as far as food. But how often should people be putting out a video-based content?
I would say a minimum of once a week. I mean, that's the minimum. But what we're doing is we have our episode that comes out once a week, but then we make some shorter teaser videos that come out throughout the week that lead up to the final video that gets released. So we've been doing our food videos drop on a Friday, because most people go out to eat on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we drop the videos on Fridays. So now it's top of mind because people are already thinking on a Friday, hey, where are we going to do tonight? Where are we going to go out to eat, to drink? So you're convenient with the timing of it because that's when it's top of mind for people.
Right. Cool, man. I can't believe we've already been talking this long. I'm blown away, and I got like a billion other questions, but I don't want to hold you up because you're busy. I do this. I don't know if you watch any like Japanimation. I'm one of those geeky guys because I was a tech geek, and I watch One Punch Man, and he's like basically a hero for fun. I'm the same way. I'm a online guru guy just for fun. I literally do this just because I enjoy it. So I have a business I got to run. I still have deals that I got to do today. So I'm going to try to start buttoning this up. And I mean, in the future, if you want to sit down and talk again, I still think there's like hundreds of questions. And I think what I'll do is when it goes on YouTube and seeing how this goes, if people have, so everybody's watching right now, or even the people that are going to watch this later, if you have other questions for Kyle Whissel, if I get a whole bunch and it makes sense, maybe I'll reach out to him again and do another episode like this. But I don't want to burn too much time. So I always ask this one question at the end of everything. What is your number one recommendation for a real estate agent out there that's trying to build a killer business? And I've heard a lot of unique answers, and I want to hear from you. What's the number one thing that you would recommend?
You've got to treat this like a job. So if you think about the last job that you had that was paid on an hourly basis, you got there at a set time every day, and you had set activities that you completed throughout the day, and you had a set time that you finished your day. If you could treat your real estate business like a 9-to-5 job, amazing things can happen. The biggest problem in this industry is people get into it because they want freedom, which means you're fucking lazy. That's what freedom means. you can't be lazy. You've got to come in here and you've got to be very intentional with what you do, and you've got to manage your time. There's so many different things that are happening in this industry, and you get pulled in so many different directions. If you're not disciplined with your day and you don't have it mapped out, this is what I'm going to do every day when I come in, and be very systematic and very strategic about it, that's how you end up being the agent that we've referenced that does 3 deals a year. When you get to the point, you treat this like a job, and it's very disciplined. I come in at the same time every day, and this is what I do when I come in. And you do that day in, day out, and it doesn't stop. You don't say, oh, I'm not going to prospect today because I got an appointment. You prospect every day. Like, prospecting is the second thing or third thing behind your family and your religion. Like, prospecting is next. It's right. Like, it should be right up there with religion and family. But what I see agents do, and how they end up on that roller coaster of doing 5 deals and then nothing, and then 2 deals and nothing. You've got to prospect every single day, and nothing other than religion or family replaces prospecting. Appointments don't replace it. Putting out fires doesn't replace it. You prospect every single day, day in, day out. It's set in your schedule, and nothing ever replaces it.
Man, that right there. Oh my God. I mean, you need to make some type of like hang up poster and sell that, because let me tell you, I think a lot of people leave a job, and all of us, almost everybody has had a job. It's very rare when somebody went straight into real estate out of high school. And if you worked a job, we were talking about this in our team meeting yesterday. You worked a job, you were good and excited to make $2,000 a month. You were excited to be treated like crap and get a half hour to eat, right? And you're like, well, I'm joining real estate, I'm gonna make this money. So you're doing it, and you're not willing to work harder or hold yourself accountable from this time to treat it like a job to make way more freaking money. What it is, I think people do, is they start saying, well, it's boring. Yep, every successful person that I know has a very, very boring, regimented, time-blocked schedule for success. And then when but they're driving around in not that it's, to me, it's not important to me, but I hear poor agents always talk about it. Oh, I want an Audi. I want this. They're always talking about money, right? To me, money is the byproduct. Money is the byproduct of actually doing good, positive actions consistently over an extended period of time. And everything you just said is just freaking awesome. I appreciate that you said it. Wow, that's cool. I don't know. Somebody else had put on there too. He says, I could listen to Kyle. I could listen to Kyle all day long. Right on. True. Absolute truth. Thank you so much for that one thing that you just said. I mean, I think that is absolutely the best recommendation that any agent could take, to include myself. If I fall off, I call it bouncing off the bottom, when it's like, man, I got 10 deals and what the hell's just happened, because I stopped. And that is very cool, and I appreciate that. So I don't want to hold you out now. If you do have a plug as far as where people can find you, I know I'm going to post up your webinar. It's coming up. Yes, Noreen, no lazy agents, good stuff. But so how can people find you, reach out to you, or actually communicate with you in some way to learn more from you?
For sure. 2 things. So one, if the eXp thing, I know we touched on it, if you want the whole deal and you want to learn what that's about, we run webinars regularly. Just go to fastforwardmovement.com, fastforwardmovement.com, and you can watch a whole video with all the details and all that stuff. If you want to stay connected, I cannot add anybody on Facebook. I haven't been able to add anybody for years on Facebook. So what we decided to do is we made a group on Facebook called The Whissel Way. TheWhisselWay.com will just shortcut you into that group. And we just share everything in there. So we share little snippets from our office meetings. We share some of the tech and the tools that we're using. And if people have questions, I'd rather answer the question in that group, because if you have that question, there's probably 100 other people that have that same question. So if you have a question that maybe didn't get answered today, go to thewhisselway.com. It's a Facebook group, and ask your question in there. And me and my media manager, Brian, we monitor that group, and we'll make sure to get your response. And we're an open book. We'll share anything. So thewhisselway.com, fastforwardmovement.com. Love to stay connected with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. For those of you that are watching this after the live interview, keep in mind, I'm going to start posting it up when I do live interviews for everybody. So if you're a YouTube watcher, you can check it here. And if you didn't know, like I already mentioned, by the end of this month, because everybody has been beating me up about it. They're like, Kris, I love watching you. I love listening to you. It sucks putting you on my car radio with YouTube running. When are you going to make podcasts? That is happening this month. And I'm actually getting a lot of help from people that have extremely over the top successful podcasts. So this will probably be one of the first episodes I put up because this is fire. And what's cool is I already have like 400, 500 freaking episodes. So I won't run out of content anytime soon. So I'm going to be getting that done. And do me a favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, comment. There's other people out there. I do this again. I'm a vlogger for fun. This is my entertainment. I enjoy it. I get to talk to people like Kyle Whissel, who's just a god in this industry. Do me a favor, like, share, and comment on the content because it's helping a lot of people out there. You just listen to this and it's going to help you. I'm sure I had somebody write on here, Kris, I already took 3 pages of notes. Where is that? 3 pages of notes just off of this one quick episode that we did. Help other people. Like, share, comment. That helps other people learn about what the Real Estate Blitz is doing, learn about Kyle Whissel, learn about, I've interviewed some of the mega people out here. I've interviewed the CEO for Sync. I've interviewed the CEO for FirePoint. I've interviewed the largest podcast, real estate agent podcast in the world, Toby Salgado. I interviewed him on here too. Great stuff from there. Do me a favor, like, share, comment. And outside of that, just keep watching the Blitz. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Kyle. You got anything else you want to say before we cut out?
That's it. Let's just stay connected. Don't send me a Facebook ad request. I can't add you. thewhisselway.com.
Right on. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Kyle, hold on one second. I'm going to end this and we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.